All right, good evening. Glad you are with us. We're going to be joined tonight by Colonel John Mills. We're going to talk about China moving in on the Philippines. We're going to talk about China putting out their third aircraft carrier. We're going to talk, and it just completed sea trials. We're going to talk about the betrayal of Israel by the U.S. Administration and more. And then we're going to be joined by Mike Hammond of Gun Owners of America. There is a big case in court related to the unconstitutional ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Mike Hammond of Gun Owners of America will join us for that update tonight. It's going all over social media today about their case. You're going to want to hear about this for sure. And then we got a bunch of video clips to play for you tonight and talk about, well, what we mentioned the other night, and that is perhaps the United Nations already has troops here in the U.S. as military-age males. That is swirling. I have, for a long time, as you know, talked about the fact that I'm concerned about chaos in America and the UN using this as a chance to come into the U.S. And I'm thinking, this will be guys in blue helmets and they'll be deployed and we'll hear, all about it. Well, some are saying they have been doing research and grabbing tags and license plates on cars. They claim the UN is already sending in some of the military-age males who are indeed the ones coming over the border. They're not just the Islamists and the CCP. They may be United Nations soldiers already getting here. I'm not saying that's what's happening. I'm telling you what's being reported. Ann Vandersteel will join us tonight to talk about that and more. Then I want to show you tonight, a little bit later, a publication from 1917. This is the congressional record from 1917. If they want to show that on the screen, there you go. This is page 2947, is entered by Representative Oscar Callaway of Texas. It's going to blow your mind. Something I've been quoting in some of my presentations on the power elite for many years. And what he's saying is there is indeed a power elite. And we were warned about this by the congressman all the way back in 1917. In fact, we were also warned in 1913 by President Woodrow Wilson. President Woodrow Wilson also warned in 1913 about this power elite. So again, you wonder what's happening in America and how there is a two-tiered legal system and the elite seem to get away with things none of us would ever get away with. This is called the power elite. And we have members of American history, from presidents to members of Congress, warning about the power elite, many of them who are on the cusp of accomplishing what is easily an over 100-year goal. I'll show you some of that tonight. I dealt with it for a whole hour on radio today. You'll find it at worldviewtube.com, worldviewtube.com. Joining me now is Colonel John Mills. I got Rob Manus, I got John Mills. Colonel John Mills. Hello, Colonel. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, thank you, Brannon. Just doing great there. Yeah, I was, when you said that, I got a little concerned. I was going, uh-oh, I've been bumped.
No, you've not been bumped. It's just me just getting my kernels mixed up, right? I want to go to a couple key articles you have sent me tonight. Let me see if I can find them tonight for us to discuss. There's a lot of news today. Let's see here. Where are these articles I just pulled up to talk to you? Here we go. Here's the first one. Let's go to this one right here. Security scandal. Chinese drone hovers over U.S. nuclear-powered supercarrier in Japan. I saw this last week. And there's a picture, and apparently nothing happened. It didn't get shot down. What's this all about, and what does it tell us?
Well, I am sure NCIS, Naval Criminal Investigative Service. Now, this is at Yokosuka, Japan. This is this is at the bottom end of Tokyo Bay. This is our U.S. 7th Fleet, of the Pacific Fleet. And I believe that is the Ronald Reagan. So it looks like it's undergoing maintenance. That is not a ready to go to sea status right there. When a carrier is like this, it's very vulnerable, very vulnerable. And just remember the Bonhomme Richard, a medium-sized carrier that burned up mysteriously, and we still don't have truth on that, it's the largest 55,000 tons, the largest capital ship America has ever lost, burned up pierside in San Diego several years ago. Why? It was undergoing maintenance. A fire broke out somehow. The water lines weren't charged. So a failure after failure. Right here, the Reagan. I've seen the Reagan in a lot more wrapped up maintenance state than this, but still, it would take several days for this to go to sea, and it's very vulnerable. Prayerfully, the water lines are charged and ready to go for firefighting. So they're going to have to work with the local Japanese authorities, and I'm sure this has become a national security issue. We only have 11 carriers. That's it. And, all they need in some kind of drone is to drop some kind of people say a bomb. Well, no, bombs blow up, throw little metal fragments. What they want to do is you want to start a fire here. And so thermite or white phosphorus would set off a fire on this ship. So even a small drone can carry multiple warheads with white phosphorus. So very dangerous, very concerning situation. I am sure at the Pentagon, everybody's bouncing off the walls on this.
Let's take a look at this drone footage right here. Where is this?
Oh, all right. That's Yokosuka.
Drone footage from that, or?
It would have to be. Yeah, this is the Reagan. Do you see 76 anywhere? Do you see 70? Yep, that's 76.
Yeah, it's right there, right dead center.
Reagan.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I have never seen. I've never seen what this large square is in the center, and I'm trying to figure out what maintenance is that. That's roughly where the arresting gear is at. I've never seen this area uncovered like this before during a service of what's called a service availability. So this is odd. I don't totally know what that is. Actually, I think the arresting gear is a little bit astern of that. But bottom line, this is very dangerous. This shows a failure of Yokosuka to have active countermeasures that can engage a drone. And right now it is in the Ukraine, it is a total DJI drone to DJI drone shootout as they attempt to drop small charges on each other's tanks. That has become the tank killer in Ukraine. Both the Russians and the Ukrainians are doing it to each other with small drones. These are it's just we're going to look back. It's a revolution in warfare using these small consumer grade drones. But look at the stability of that. The DJI drone has a stabilized camera. That is high-end electronics that will keep it. So look at how smooth this photography is from the drone. Just amazing. And so the DJI drone has many advanced features. The follow me feature. That you could set the drone as an operator. You could say, hey, follow me. Well, guess what? They've weaponized that in Ukraine and set it to using advanced AI. They can, when they see a crew member out alone around a tank, they invoke the follow me feature and tell it to follow that person. And you've seen, I'm sure that the audience has seen a lot of horrible photos where crew members are literally chased down and blown up by the drones. There was one where 4 members of
we have shown some of those here.
Yeah,
we've shown some of those here with you with you right here on the show.
Yeah, it was horrible. One time they chased a crew of 4. Most of the tanks have a crew of 4. They chased a 4 into the remnants of of a basement of a house, and they jumped inside, thought they had cover, and drone landed on right on top of him and blew off his legs. It was horrible. But this is what they can use the small drones for.
Let's go to this one. China's 3rd aircraft carrier completes first sea trial. Tell me about this, please, Colonel.
Now, this is the Fujian carrier number 3. Now, it kind of looks like the Reagan, but several big differences. This is conventionally powered diesels. The Reagan is nuclear powered. Now, this only has 3 catapults. You have 2 up front on the bow, and then you have 1 on the side, one of the waste catapults. The Reagan has 2. So the Reagan when talking about the effectiveness of carrier, it's all about how many sorties can it generate. A sortie is a French word for a mission, a flight mission. And you have four catapults you can generate, and it's all measured. How much weight can you throw off the deck with the catapult? Because that shows you the weight of the aircraft plus the weight of the ordnance, and that's literally how you plan these. Because you want to know how much weight can you throw and how much time off the carrier. That's your measurement of sortie rate. And right here, the Chinese carrier has 3. Now, this is its first sea trial. They're going to have to do a lot more than one. Normally, could be a multi-year process. My concern is they're going to rush us into service because they want 3 carriers. They want carrier 1, the name's escaping me right now, carrier number 2, and carrier number 3. The number 1 is the Liaoning. Carrier 2 is the name's escaping me. But they want 3 carriers. Why? Because they want one at the top end of Taiwan, one at the bottom end of Taiwan, and one in reserve that's either undergoing maintenance or they can surge. They have a carrier top and bottom. That helps complete their encirclement of Taiwan. Now, also, we've been seeing a lot of investigation of the eastern side of the Philippines, not the western side, where they are pushing and shoving over a rusted ship that's been beached since 1997. That's at Second Thomas Shoals, and then up north is Scarborough. But now we're seeing survey vessels, which is usually a euphemism for spy ship, probing different spots on the eastern shore facing the Pacific. On the Committee on Present Danger, that's always been a concern, is that they not go after Taiwan. Why would you invade a reasonably well-prepared Taiwan, especially after watching the Russians bog down for 2.5 years in Ukraine? Why do that when you can just go south to the Philippines that has essentially no defense until recently? So the Chinese are probing the Philippines, and in some ways, from a planner's perspective, they could accomplish their mission by seizing the Batanes Islands, which are a small Filipino grouping halfway between Taiwan and the top end of the Philippines. You seize that, you seize the top end of Luzon, you actually are in a better situation. You can squeeze off Taiwan from the south. There's little military that the Filipinos can deploy to stop anything. One thing is, literally right now we have our first Typhoon missile systems, which is long-range Tomahawk and SM-6 that can reach all 9 of the key Chinese airfields. And this is why the Chinese are bouncing off the wall here, is because we have the Typhoon missile now. We just announced it just 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's in the Philippines and can rain fire on the key 9 Chinese airfields.
So let me ask you before we go to 2 more articles, and then Mike Hammond of Gun Owners of America, and then Ann Vandersteel, and then some interesting clips and history here tonight. What do you say now about this fall? You know, there are many that are saying that they expect Taiwan to be attacked by China this fall. Are you still one of those people saying that?
Yes, I think it will be encirclement plus perhaps swiping Kinmen, the very, very forward island of Taiwan, which is literally 4,000 feet away from China, at one of the rock outcroppings. I think the Philippines are looking awfully vulnerable. Now, they've been rushing in the last year to really accelerate, but again, it would still be easier to land there than on Taiwan. So you land there, you essentially asphyxiate Taiwan. It's a twofer. So also going on to the south is what the chaos that's going on in Guadalcanal and the Solomon Islands. Grave concern. The election outcome is unclear. It looked like Sogavari, the pro-Chinese prime minister, who was totally corrupt. It's unclear whether he won or not, but then he's kind of stepped aside, but he's going to be the minister of finance. So, you know, one of the most important positions. This person will control all the cash in the country. So this means China could go all the way down to Guadalcanal. So I think I think seizing Kinmen, the forward island, seizing the top of the Philippines, and then massively increasing their presence in the Philippines, guess what? They've effectively sent a message to the world, cut off Taiwan, and they're saying, hey, you want Taiwan? Come and get it.
Do you think there's a risk to us here in America before they do that? Do you think they'll do anything before they go after Taiwan?
I think if they do that scenario and we begin to break the blockade, they will start firing on American territory, Guam, Tinian, and Saipan. Those are American citizens. American citizens are going to receive missile fire directly, and they could reach all the way out to Hawaii. That's a state of the union. The other three are territories.
Wow.
So that once we counter the move to try to break a blockade or encirclement or whatever you want to call it, a passive aggressive do not cross this line by China, we try to break it, they're going to start raining fire on American territory.
Are you concerned about the power grid here in the lower 48?
Yeah, very vulnerable. I just had an article come out in both Epic Times and another one in Newsmax where I talk about this. Our grid is very fragile, and David Pine interviewed David Pine for one of the articles, and he went over. The problem is, I did not realize this. I'd lost the bubble on this. Like 60% of the U.S. data centers are in Northern Virginia. That was not the way it was supposed to be, but I mean, when we were first coming up with these plans in the 2000s, they were supposed to be spread across the country. Now we got like a 60 to 70% conglomeration of all the data centers are in Northern Virginia, and they are at a power deficit in many ways. But you don't even have to EMP the whole country. You do a tactical EMP right above Northern Virginia, you're going to wipe out most of the data centers and most of the data for the entire United States and the world. 70% of the world's internet traffic goes through Northern Virginia.
Wow. All right, let's go to another one real quick. Gatestone Institute, the betrayal of Israel by the U.S. administration is almost complete. Of course, I think this is dangerous. Genesis 12, verse 3, I'll bless who bless Israel, I'll curse those who curse Israel. Not that we always agree with everything the Israeli government does, not saying that. But when you put up the Jews to be slaughtered again, as Hamas is saying that's what they want to do, and the U.S. is aiding and abetting the enemies of Israel, that's not a good sign. And then we talk about what can happen to America. God could very easily remove his hand of protection from our country, and you could see our power grid go down. You could see problems with our food supply and all these things. So America's playing with fire here, judgment, being cursed by God. I think it's very dangerous. What say you?
Yeah, well, they are clearly slow walking ammunition. There's a slide I sent in. I don't know if any of the team, that if they could show that, because this is the struggle and fight that's going on in Gaza right now. Thomas, anybody? Okay. Yeah, let's look at this. In the bottom left, most of the fighting and the encirclement of the last major elements, they call them, they've said like there are 3 or 4 battalions of Hamas terrorists left in that bottom left corner, and that's the Rafah gate into Egypt. Okay, that's that. And this is the one where they're saying the administration is essentially saying stop. Now, I wrote a Gateway Pundit article on this. It's Mahar Pitar. Let me see if I got the name correct. There's an individual, and I call him Rob Malley 2.0. This guy is.
I have that article. Yeah,
Mahar Pitar. Well, he's the one I using an intelligence community term, I have high confidence that this is the guy that is essentially pocket vetoing the resupply of artillery and bombs to Israel. So Mahar Pitar, this guy, I've never known somebody who worked at the UN RWA, the Palestine, the UN group in Palestine, that's been documented. Hundreds of their members joined and were part of the assault into Israel. being paid by the UN to attack and kill Israelis. So Mahar Pitar.
Let's go to this article. Let's show this. Let's just show this, because this is an article by Colonel Mills at the Gateway Pundit. This is a brand new article out today, May 14th.
Yeah. Look, it's just, this guy is trouble. And, hey, we're a diverse country, diverse ethnicities, diverse religions. Got it. Everybody should receive representation. Got it. But this guy worked for the corrupt UN organization that is charged with being part of the Hamas terrorist assault into Israel. I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, I think you could count on one hand the number of U.S. government employees right now that also work for the UNRWA. That is a corrupt organization. Crazy. So this guy, and he was a student activist. If you go down the article, you'll see, I mean, this guy was a radical at Georgetown while getting his law degree. And that's the guy in the Biden team. That's Rob Malley, who's unpaid leave of absence because he's being investigated essentially because it looks like he was a spy for Iran. So, Mahar Pitar, this guy is a radical anti-Semite, and he's the director of intelligence and defense on the National Security Council, essentially the same group I was with when I was over at the White House. So this guy, I assure you, was actually, has his fingerprints, probably literally, on the action memo package, slow rolling the ammunition.
Let's show it, Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There we go.
Mahar Pitar.
There it is.
This guy is, hey, you want to be a Palestinian activist? Great. Resign your position. Because, I mean, this guy is just seething with rage and hate at the Israelis. And he's the one supposed to be making a unbiased decisions for all of America. This guy is trouble. This is probably the single most important reason Israel is not receiving the arms and ammunition it should.
Wow. All right. War Against the Deep State, waragainstthedeepstate.com. That's the name of the book, and the website to order it is waragainstthedeepstate.com. You can also get it at mystore.com, the entrepreneurial site of Mike Lindell. You can get it there at mystore.com. Use the promo code B66 for some savings, or waragainstthedeepstate.com. Colonel Mills joins us each Tuesday night for a national security update, and a very important one at that tonight. As always, Colonel, I want to ask our audience to remember that you have a show I produce, Worldview Tube produces. It's available at worldviewtube.com, worldviewtube.com. You'll find it there. I hope you will share it with your family and friends. It's a great broadcast by Colonel John Mills. As always, Colonel, thanks for being with us.
Hey, Brannon, it's an honor. Thank you so much. Take care.
You too. Colonel John Mills checking in tonight, folks.